Welcome back. Beyond the headlines with three of our young people. We're discussing, and they're letting us know their feelings on the issues to be raised in the upcoming referendum. Now, Neil, you have some strong views based on what the caller from Carriacou was saying there. And even the caller came up saying, look, what Carriacou and Petite Martinique need is power, and not necessarily a name change. And you had some views on that.
Yeah. One of the callers mentioned that we are ignorant towards the bills. We are not here to condemn anything. We are here to understand. We are youth, and a lot of persons throughout the Tri-Island state tend to view youth as ignorant. We are now here to become enlightened, educated, and it's now up to you, the adults who know, to educate us. Now, one thing I would like to point out, one of the callers said that do not label Carriacou and Petite Martinique as a parish. It is not a parish. Now, if we do not label them as a parish, do you want us to label these two islands as a separate state? Should we allow them to have their independence? If so, then would they be able to stand by themselves as an independent state? No, I don't think so. He mentioned Trinidad and Tobago. And he said that there are islands around Trinidad and Tobago and they feel left out. Now, if it was a pressing issue for the government of Trinidad and Tobago, then they would have changed it, but it's not a pressing issue, and you have other things that need attention rather than a name change. That is just my opinion. Mm-hmm. And we have other islands around Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Why don't we put them on the passport as well? Why don't we include them in the name change? It would be unnecessary. It's unnecessary change, and we have more pressing issues to address. Look at the amount of disabled persons we have in Grenada. Not much attention is being given to them. These persons need attention, and they need it fast. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. However, we are here making noise and debating over a name change, a simple name change. Look at Hawaii again, for example. Right. It's one state with numerous islands.
All right. Well, again, and I just want to echo this. It's not a matter of being against anything. The issue is on the ballot paper. The views of the young people are that there are more pressing issues than the name change. And one of the callers was saying, look, what the islands really need is power, you know. And I always make reference to the Constitution from 1973, which allows for Carriacou and Petite Martinique to have local government. And up until now, nothing has happened. And I thought that would have been, personally, an issue more important than changing the name. All right, the other bill we want to look at has to do with the appointment of a leader of the opposition in case there isn't one. Let me hear your views on it.
All right. Well, as we know, we are a democratic society. And in a democratic society, there must be an opposition. It's a simple fact. And like now, where we have a situation where the 15 seats of parliament is occupied by one party, some people tend to view it as non-democratic in that there is no opposition, and that ruling party would be biased. I personally would see that as an important thing to address, whereas you have that +1 into parliament, so that there would be a balance. One party would not be making all the decisions, therefore you would have that +1 coming in to kind of bring stability when it comes to decision making.
Mm-hmm. Brandon?
Well, like I said, I agree with Nilon, but the situation of the whole issue is that it calls for the Governor General, in his or her deliberate judgment, will appoint the next leader of the opposition, which we were talking about in the break, and it's, if people, really wanted these people How come they didn't reach there? But it is not that I am rejecting the leader of an opposition. I support it. But the method in which it it is, you know, comes across, it could be, I don't know, it could be an ambush in a sense.
Then again, if you consider the House, the lower house is made up of representatives, elected representatives. So how are we going to go about appointing if the people vote as they voted in the last election for one party? It's the people's choice to send these people to the House of Representatives. So do we need to have anything as a change to say that we'll appoint a leader if of the opposition wants it?
So then it's like we're having two elections in one go, if we look at it like that. And then there's the fact that a member of the ruling party can cross the floor, and the opposition leader at that point will have to vacate his position, and the member that crossed will become the new opposition leader. So it's the appointment of the opposition leader in itself, it's a bit confusing if one were to not properly understand what it entails.
Okay. Do we have a caller with us? Hi, good evening. Beyond the headlines. Hello?
Hello, greetings.
Yeah?
Yes. I go by J.K. Roberts, and a few comments briefly.
Yeah, be brief.
One is that your panelist, at least I think the young lady, she made a very excellent point in terms of the bills are not straightforward. And this is significant for many reasons. But most importantly, I will mention here, there are officials of the track, the committee leading the reform process, which are going around declaring that all the bills are clear, they are not controversial, and they are straightforward, point one. Two, on a point of legal education, as one of your young men said, in terms of the amendment bills, yes, I go with the idea that the process has been rushed. There are many errors, inconsistencies, and all sorts of flaws. However, in making any amendment, the bills are to stand independently of each other. And the bill should not reflect anything that the other bill, more or less, have to bring in force. For example, you made a point in terms of the allegiance to the state of Grenada, whereas there is another bill which talks about replacing Grenada by Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is quite okay because if, for example, the bill that talks about the allegiance to Grenada passes, and the one that talks about Carriacou and Petit Martinique did not, then the one with the allegiance goes. But if the one for, let's say, vice versa, so in other words, we have to treat them independently, and until all of them passes, then we can make the necessary changes.
So after the referendum, we may have to make more changes.
Well,
the possibility exists.
Hello, I'm not hearing you clearly here.
All right, okay.
But indeed, there are some inconsistencies, and there are some other bills in which there is this confusion as you cited, but I'd just like to make that correction.
Okay, all right.
The other point, listen to me, Lou. Because of time, let me just say that there is what we refer to as an open university. It is there on your station, Lou, GBN Classic, every Wednesday and Thursday. I'm inviting your colleagues who are on the panel tonight, as well as their other friends, to tune in on your station every Wednesday and Thursday night, 8 p.m., and they will get a lot of more information in terms of understanding the bills.
Okay.
But congratulations once again. And Lou?
Yeah? Uh-huh.
The EC dollar note. You see, while we have no problem in implementing the change name in terms of the passport, the bill, one, is more than the name change. This is very dangerous. Besides that, it entails a lot of cost. Our government will have to cooperate with the regional body, with the currency, to make sure that the EC dollar note is changed. If you look at your dollar note here,
Yeah, we understand. The
You
dollar
see
note will
Grenada?
therefore have to have Grenada, Caracon, Petit Martinique. Okay? All right, Caller, thank you very much indeed. There's another aspect of things in terms of the Eastern Caribbean dollar, EC dollar, which carries St. Grenadines, yes, Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda, Antigua, Barbuda. So now we have to include Grenada, Caracon, Petit Martinique. We have a caller with us? Good evening. Beyond the headlines.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much, Lou. Thank you very much.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
My contribution.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I want to congratulate these young people. I want to congratulate these young people for coming forward and expressing their view. One of the earlier callers spoke about the United Kingdom and New Zealand.
Caller, go ahead, go ahead.
The expression United Kingdom is a combinational expression. Unlike in the case of Grenada, Grenada is not a combinational word.
Caller, go ahead, go ahead. Time is
So-
against us.
Grenada is different from Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and therefore it is quite right to change the name. Take again the matter of currency change. St. Vincent wasn't always St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It was always St. Vincent, and they made a change, and that wasn't a problem for the currency.
I don't think
So that will be dealt with. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, all right. I don't think it's a matter of saying what is if anything is problem. I mean, whatever it's a name change, certain things have to change. I mean, it's quite obvious. We changed from Poinsettia International to Morris Bishop, and everything had to change.
Everything, that's the only thing
internationally.
That's the only thing that is constant in life, change.
So there will be change. Just talking about the cost factor some people may talk about, and the number of changes one may have to make. But we expect that there will be changes, all right? So there is also the question of the Election and Boundaries Commission, which I think is straightforward. 2 members each from the government and the main opposition, with an independent chairman appointed by the Governor General to oversee the registration of votes and the conduct of elections instead of a lone supervisor of elections, and 2 to take over the functions of the Constituency Boundaries Commission, which presently establishes constituency boundaries. You know the existence of that commission?
The commission.
The Boundaries Commission? I don't think that commission has met in decades.
I mean, well, the whole fact that it has to be revamped, I mean, that's enough to say that the commission is probably not as effective as before.
Okay.
But the whole fact that there is a new body taking over raises the question of whether or not, how active these people will be, this new body. I mean, will their purpose just come alive every 5 years?
No. Well, as you have the elections office at the moment where they people run
register
all the time. So there'll be also that.
Okay, so because I mean it's a big body that and then everything focuses onto one person.
But you'll find that in most of the advanced countries. I mean, even Trinidad and Tobago and countries around us who have the Elections and Boundaries Commission. As a matter of fact, the commission in Trinidad and Tobago is taken to court, calling the last election by the opposition. There's one I want to draw to your attention and get your views on. We didn't discuss this before, but to guarantee gender equality so that both men and women shall have equal rights and status in all spheres of life. What does that mean to you young folks?
I mean, especially the one that says, non-discrimination against women by reason of marital status, pregnancy, and other feminine attributes. I mean, over the years, we've seen how women contribute to society and the role that they now can play. They are not limited. And this is something that should be in place, but there are things that, have raise concern to the public as to whether or not the values and morals that we held as a Christian society, would that be affected because of certain amendments under the bill itself, as for example the gender equality, both men and women shall be entitled to equal rights, gender inclusion, you have non-discrimination. People have been looking as to whether the law can now be manipulated to have certain things that we in the past would have looked against to now being easier to get in place within society. So it's a bill that really has to be looked at more. Not that the committee has failed or in any way to put forward the bill into its correct purpose, but it's something that more understanding has to be given.
We have the scorer with us. Hello, Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Yes, you are there.
All right. Good night, Mr. Liu, and good night to the panel. I would just like to support the sentiments expressed by all of the individuals on the panel. I believe that more consultations, more education, more constitutional education should have been done before going into a referendum. And this is why we are getting so much inconsistencies in terms of what people are saying in relation to the various bills. I believe, too, that in relation to Carriacou and Petit Martinique, the popular view expressed, I want to support. Carriacou and Petit Martinique does not need to be removed from Grenada in the sense that they must identify, separate to Grenada on the passport in this kind of manner. I believe Grenada should be maintained as for all of us. We are all one people and should remain in that context and say Grenada, the state, and represents Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Ultimately, what Carriacou and Petit Martinique needs is local government to help enhance their democracy, to help improve their level of education, the economic situation, and all of that, health, and so on. So at the end of the day, sufficient consultations was not done, and we do not have a genuine constitutional referendum taking place. What we have basically is just something given to us, and we're being asked to vote on it, and a little bits and pieces of niceties to try to, nice language, to try to get people emotional and will not enhance democracy, improve the way of life for people at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay, caller, thank you for your contribution. Any quick comments on that one?
I mean, it's as the caller said, I mean, there are certain things that would interest you in the bills because, for example, the protection of intellectual property rights, right? So works of creation of an intellectual, artistic, and cultural nature. If I mean, someone as me, involved in poetry and writing and producing my own pieces, this interests me. But to put it on, you know, a place where this, for example, the directive principles of state policy, these things are not enforceable. But they force government to, you know, look at these issues when making policies, and then you have to consider things like, oh, we might take into consideration promoting awareness of, heritage, protecting the natural resources of the country for the benefit of the people. I mean, this should be something that's just straightforward. It even looks at climate change as being considered when making policies. I mean, climate change is, no man is escaping climate change right about now. That should be something that we are considered a gem in the world. The Caribbean is considered a gem as a part of the world. We should be the main advocates for you know, going to help ourselves against climate change, even though we suffer more from the bigger countries. But that is something that the first part could attract me, but the second part will make me think and wonder.
Carolyn, I haven't heard from you.
Pertaining to the fundamental rights and freedoms, I think one of the problems or one of the a hard situation that may occur for persons is that they might see something that they would like to see change, but when going through it furthermore, they might see something that they do not want to accept. And they have to balance up and try to choose, should I vote yes because of this, or should I vote no because I don't want this to happen? Like, I believe that it puts in a lot into one bill, and it kind of causing a struggle within the individual for themselves to decide. And not only that, but you have to take your time and read through it. You might read through it once, miss a few concepts, read through it a second time, and then you'll pick it up. And then, like, the more you read, there might be more you might pick up, and then at the end of the day, you still have to make a choice as to vote yes or no, and it's not an easy choice.
Especially with that bill with the 45 different clauses.
Yeah.
You see, because I tell you personally, I have a difficulty because there are some things I'll agree with and some things I don't agree with. So what do I do at the end? Because it's just one vote for that ballot, on that ballot. It's not half-half. Because
Yes,
again, as we were saying at the beginning, we were used in following things around the world. It may have happened before, I don't know, but usually it is a subject that's on the paper. Either Brexit, or the Colombians will have their chance at the referendum next month as well. Antiguans will have their chance at a referendum in the first quarter of next year on the CCJ and things like that. But what many people seem confused is that we have so many items on which to deal with. Yes, you say just 7 bills, but when you check one bill with so many different clauses, it makes it a completely different story. You have another caller? Good evening. Beyond the headlines? Oh, you don't have a call. All right. Well, I think we've discussed a number of issues. Any particular point you wanted to raise again? Neilon?
No.
Okay. And what about you, Brandon? I think you went through all the items that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that this is what should have been done more. Sadly, we didn't get enough of that, of this feedback and truly understanding. However, there's still time before the election. Once again, referendum. We have 1 more month. And I think we should take the time as not only young people, but people in the society, and not just try to make it a quarrel or a debate. Let us sit down and truly understand. Because as Carolyn said, this will affect me, my children, and my children's children in the future to come.
All right, General folks, I want to thank you very, very much for being part of the panel this evening. And I wish you all the luck in the world. I think the future is in great hands when you listen to the views expressed by you young people. The future of the country in good hands. I think you're already employed, so too are you. Neilon? You're employed?
No. No,
you're not employed, is it? So I don't think Carolyn either. All right. So Brandon is the lucky one. Okay. All right. Well, this is where we have to close shop for this evening. Special thanks to Neilon Franklin, Brandon Brathwaite, and Carolyn Curtin, although youth advocates. That will complete our program for this time. We thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening, those who followed us on radio. Thanks to all of you who called. You've made the program what it has been. I am Lou Smith on behalf of the entire team saying so long.